Yeah, something like that. Maybe lower. Maybe further. Oh, Zeus is on his way over too. Hey, I'm nibbling on the chair. Zeus is coming. Zeus! Come here, buddy. Morning coffee with the two of us. Three of us. Hey, pal. How's it going? Let's come over and say hello. And he's off. Oof. It's early morning. What are you doing? Looking at the dog. It's literally one of the quietest mornings I think we have a long weekend here in Canada. I don't even know what August 1st is, or August, not the 1st, the 5th. What is the holiday today? Tomorrow. It's tomorrow, isn't it? It's a long weekend, so that makes tomorrow the holiday. I don't know what it is. No, I don't even know. I don't pay attention to long weekends because they just don't apply. Anyways, so the reason I say it's a long weekend is because everybody's off on vacation time, somewhere camping or something, and it is literally the quietest. It has been quite a while. A few cars here and there. I can't help but wonder if she can see herself in the camera, because it's just a phone and I can see the screen so that we're framed up. What do you think? It's you. It's a very small you. I've been working my butt off with Gracie. Trying to get... If you try to nibble on this chair one more time, you're going to be in big, big trouble. You're going to be a one-eared Arabian. Hey? She's so good with this stuff now. Aren't you? You're getting better. You're not the best, but you're better. Want to see if anybody's saying hello to you? Should we check? YouTube wants me to update this app. Let's see. What? Anybody see how she just bumped my shoulder there? Just a light bump. Oh, let's take that down. All right, Shelpin, Crystal, and David. Whoa! What are you doing? Horsey tickles in the ears and stuff are interesting. Just keeping her company. Like I said, it's so quiet here right now. It's oh, Zeus is coming back. Hey, buddy, can you make it through? What do you want? What? And you know, everybody's vacationing and stuff. I've already taken mine, so now I'm here. There goes Zeus. He just travels through. I thought I would, Ida, hello. I thought I'd answer a few questions while just kind of hanging out, drinking coffee in the morning before work really starts. I had Vinny yelling at me this morning. You can see me when I open up my my door up to my bedroom. My bedroom's just up top in the house, right? Now the post is in the way. Oh no, it isn't. Right there. So that little doorway, that patio door, opens onto a deck which essentially allows me to check on the horses really easily. Zeus is back. Zeus, come say hello. He's right here. There's right there. Zeus. It's the cameras. Stiff this morning. Hey! Gotta chew on the chair, eh? Gotta chew on the chair. No chewing on the chair. Anyway, so I go to look out the window this morning and Vinny looks up and yells at me. He's so chatty. He's the chattiest horse I've ever seen. No chewing on the chair. I'll make you into a one-eared Arabian and you'll look funny. Okay? You'll look funny. She's such a good horse. I've been working on a spray bottle. She doesn't run from it anymore until I spray her. Right? Until I spray you, and then you move around. Since she's kind of stuck in here for a little bit longer, I've been thinking, a lot of people ask, well, what can I do with my horse in a small space? Because there's plenty of horses on stall rest, recovering from some kind of ligament or tendon or muscle problem, or in her case, a hoof problem. Some kind of injury that happens. And so there's piles of small things that you can do in a small space. And if you can drain the place out, if it drains well and doesn't have a whole bunch of shavings in it and stuff, you can wash them and wash them and wash them and wash them and wash them. So that's what she's been going through. She's probably had at least 8 or 9 baths in the last couple of days. And I just drain all the water out. Start again in a couple hours. It's hot, so it's actually perfect weather for this. And now when I come up with a sloshy, what are you eating? Whatever it is, stop eating it. What? Come up with a sloshy bucket and a brush or a sponge or something. She doesn't immediately try to escape out of the corner somewhere, which she obviously can't. So we've been doing that, and then the spray bottle has been really important. I know. It's slishy splashy. See, something like that would just send her to the hills. She'd be gone. But she's better now. Which is something I should have got on with a long time ago. I say this all the time. Gee, I wish I got to that earlier, but there's always some other thing to do. Drink morning coffee, eh? Spent some time with you. Probably the horse I spent the most time with, other than Duke, maybe. Duke's coming along nicely. Martine, good morning. J. Lou, could you pronounce your name? Yes, it's Graeme. It's the Irish or English spelling of it. It's a little weird. My shirt's good. This is an old one. It applies. Do you think Gracie nibbles because she's affectionate towards you? Nibbles is in nibbles on the chair? She doesn't really nibble on me. What do you mean? Zeus is getting old. He is getting old. Aren't you, buddy? He's just laying down now. Don't chew on my chair. Oh, you weren't supposed to get up. I was going to show everybody how adorable you were just laying there. Okay, see? My chair. What are you doing? You want to sniff the dog? Zeus, come here. Let Gracie sniff you a little bit. You're such a pretty cat. Pretty dog. Come here. Over here. Right here. Good boy. You guys can't, I don't know if you can see Zeus. He's so wary. I wish I could get up to move the camera, but you yawning in my face for? It's not that early in the morning. 8 o'clock or so. So yeah, so that's how you pronounce my name. Didn't know there was a live stream. Yeah, well, I just sort of. Oh. Usually, when you hear a horse's mouth open up, it precludes a biting. But in this case, it's just a yawn. Do you feel better with me sitting here? Hey, do you feel better with me just hanging out with you? You got a little bit of company, even if it's a two-leg bipedal carnivore predator who messes with your feet too much, washes you too many times. Yeah, that's a hard done by life. I have a rant. Anybody want to hear a rant? Probably not. Maybe you don't want to hear a rant. I don't know if I even want to rant. Kids are waking up. Good morning, Olives and Sue. Vent. Everybody wants to hear a rant. You bunch of drama queens. All right. Kids are sleeping in a tent. It's so hot. And I can hear them nattering away. So if they grab my attention, I'll try to be back. I already had my breakfast, so they gotta eat. What do you want? Yeah, that's what you get. Don't knock my arm while I'm drinking. Okay, my rant. So, I get a lot of comments, and like I've said before, I think once every month or 2 months I get some comment that comes in. Hey! What is going on? It's a tasty chair, cedar, or whatever this thing is. Anyhow, so once every month or 2 months I get some comment that comes in that is just... Some of them are really... I mean, some can be kind of mean. I don't see too many of those. Those are really rare. But some of them are kind of really critical. And you hear about it a lot in the horse world. And it's one of the reasons so many trainers out there don't do their stuff live. Or they don't allow video at their clinics and stuff like that. And they actually think that it makes them more money to not have video at their clinic, which is crazy because people will advertise for free essentially if you're any good, but if you suck, then the opposite effect happens. So maybe, but no, there's plenty of good ones that are just, what do you want? Chair chewer, you're gonna get it. I'll poke you in your big huge eyeball. Are you sorry? Did you just say sorry? Is that your sorry look? You chew on my chair. Anyhow, so some girl comes in. I know it's a girl because of her name. And I'm guessing probably a younger kid. Just a guess. And had watched... If you nibble on this thing, you put your head this way, please. You're making me nervous. Go that way. Look at the dog. Hey. What is he doing? What is he doing? He's just sniffing. Zeus, there's nothing there, man. He's looking for shavings, food to him. Hoof shavings. So she comes in and makes this comment on when I was getting Gracie in the trailer. The second time I had ever seen her in my life, which was the only time I was able to go get her. Anyways, her comment was something along the lines of you shouldn't be trying to load a horse when they're scared, and you should prepare her better, and uh, and obviously or something along the lines that people should learn when horses are too scared to do something and not force them to do it, and ending off with something along the lines of poor horse. I just thought, oh yeah, mm-hmm. So there's the issue where when you're working with horses, somebody might look at just this little tiny itty bitty point in time in that horse's life and think, oh man, that poor thing. And it's not that the girl was wrong in that Gracie was having a really hard time, and it was a very hard time in her life at that point. Um, but necessity demanded the situation that she had to be loaded quickly and promptly. And obviously she's fine. Some horses, you know, they might get hurt through certain things, and there's something to be said about that where you might have to accommodate. But we were at it for hours, so it's not like I just thought, well, okay. So I wrote back, but I ended up thinking about it more, and thought instead maybe it's important to kind of point out that there are going to be there's going to be a whole story. What actually Sean and I talked about this is what I mean. It's just a lot of thoughts going through my head. My rant really is I don't want people to just look at one moment in time of a horse's life with somebody and the point in time of that person's life as well with that horse and just judge it off of that. I mean, Gracie had no other option. She was coming home in that day or not coming home at all. And her only other option outside of that actually was likely to be put down. So, not a bad option, I think, in that regard. And of course, there is just the rest of her story. It was a year ago, over a year ago, and here she is now, stuck with me. You don't need any more company? Hey, Zeus and I come hang out with you and you go eat. Hi, buddy. And there's so many situations that there's many situations that you shouldn't rush a horse. Obviously, you should be going slow and careful and methodical, and ending on good notes and all that kind of good stuff. All the usual stuff that everybody says. Once in a while, there are these points in times that you got to push hard. And Sean and I were talking about these things where sometimes you really just punch through something. In her case, obviously, I needed to get her home. And sometimes you can punch through things, and if you're really at the end of that, and obviously she was, in my mind, she's pretty good. Next time I tried to trailer her, it didn't take much to get her back on. I'd obviously built up some more trust with her anyway, so that helps a lot. I get a lot of questions about that. I'll come back to that in a second. And you know, there's something to be said. That's another thing. Oh God, so many things. Sean and I were talking about comments on YouTube because he finds himself pretty frustrated that there are a lot of people who don't bother to do any looking into a horse's story. They don't bother looking into the why. They don't bother looking into anything other than that one moment where they come in and they make a big judgment and then they leave. And I said, look, you gotta trust me, man. Those aren't the people. That's not the audience you're gonna normally attract. They found your video by accident. They popped in because your thumbnail was good or the title was good, and they're just gonna go click, 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 and find some part in the video where they're like, nah, I don't like this, and I'm gonna type it all out. And I said, it doesn't matter. You want the audience, the people, the community that are building up, asking questions. And this girl's, she wasn't asking any questions. She didn't want to know. She doesn't care. I don't believe. Doesn't care at all about, well, how come that horse was rushed? How come you had to push her on like that? That doesn't seem like you to do that. So no research into the channel, into the content, into the community that lives on this channel of incredibly positive people. Like I said, once every month or 2 months, I might get somebody that comes in and just says, you suck, essentially. And you kind of think, that's cool. Carry on. Go on your way. Or come to learn. And so I'd commented that they could maybe ask a question, or she should ask a question maybe, and understand a little bit more about what it is that we do, or I do, when it comes to trailer training and all that kind of stuff. So that's my rant. All you drama queens out there wanting me to rant at you. I guess I brought it up though, so maybe I'm a drama queen. I'm gonna work through the comments down upwards, which means newest to oldest. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Zeus is right here. Stay. Don't move. Stay. 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 Right there. Gracie's just eating anyways. Yes, I have my pink Crocs on. Hey, buddy. What is it that I can help you with today? All right. All right, let's answer some questions, Zeus. Looks like the comments have been going crazy. It's fire all over the place. Lots of conversations with Sean about these kinds of things because live chat. Because it's a real issue with any person who's got some kind of success on YouTube and has a series of people that come around often and some not very often, where you just get tired of, well, I don't, but because I don't receive very many. But we're talking about a couple of them out there, and some of them have a reputation of not being kind people. They have a big following for some weird reason, you know, with the demographic that they most insult. It's bizarre. And then they get mad when that demographic gets mad at them. Trolls attract trolls. It's true, yes. Some channels, despite being popular, are just trolls. They don't have positive things to say. They're ranting, and those people attract true drama queens, I think. I'm joking around when I say you guys want to hear about my rant, but Ida, thank you. Yeah, there was a level of patience and compassion, and there was a level of impatience, and sort of there's a little bit where you have to shut down your feelings of the moment and turn up your feelings for the long term, without sort of, you know, being firm to get on that trailer. She wouldn't be here today. She'd be glue. Kids are distracting me. I was chattering away. No. Hey, my coffee cup leaks. Oh, I know why. Zeus, I know why it leaks. I didn't put the little rubber bit in. Don't like that. He loves coffee. It's easier to drink anyways. Okay. Yes, thank you, Ida. It's true. There's long-term compassion. There's short-term sort of that, like, look, if we don't get this done, somebody's going to be in big trouble. Now, I find that there are two different groups of horsefolk: those that do natural horsemen, those that say they do but don't. There, Sean and I were talking about. I mean, we talked about it. I swear we were together at least 10 hours a day for 4 days. It's a lot. And one of the things, I just cleaned up your poop. Did you just stop pooping? Anyways, we were what are you doing? We were talking about how there's plenty of people out there that talk a lot but do little, and it's that same person that's very derogatory towards women, has a huge women following, and then stands around talking about how everybody else is doing something wrong, and then just does nothing themselves. It's a bizarre world. Saw an ad about a horse being trained in horsemanship who could do a few tricks. Trick training was a horsemanship thing. Trick training is an interesting concept. There are plenty of tricks out there that you can teach horses that I think require a decent level of horsemanship. Some not. Some quite a bit. And a heck of a lot of trust. So however you got that trust, you know. Yes, now, Sean and I talked a lot about that. Okay, trolls. Sometimes the ones complaining are the ones doing things that are not to the benefit of the horse. It could be very possibly true, and they might not even know it. They just know the theory. So they come along to somebody else's channel and say, you shouldn't force a horse to do things, and they should not be scared, and they should be comfortable, and they should be really happy before. Yeah, that would be really nice. But being prey animals, they're inherently scared of every tiny little thing that they look at. So I don't understand how that concept would actually work. And when you try to apply those concepts to reality, it so quickly falls apart that you stop regurgitating those lines. It just doesn't sound. So that's why I think it's just a kid, you know, a younger girl or something like that, that's hoping to be good one day. So let's see. So many. Trust your instincts. You've done pretty good up to now, plus you do your research on training. It's true, I do a lot of research on training. I'm constantly looking. I was actually, when I was with Sean, I had so many questions for him. There was a point in time where I could tell he was starting to lose his patience. Fairly so. Like, it's fair. Because I was really harping on one thing, because I really wanted to get something accurate. And there's a couple of studies out there, one that I saw recently where I think it was for a violin school or something. I don't know where I saw this. Where did I see it? I feel like Warwick said it. Warwick Schiller, if you ever watch his stuff. I think I got it from a video of his. Anyways, it's something about a violin school. And for the first 6 months or something like that, you don't even get to hold a violin. You have to hold a piece of wood or cardboard or something like that. And only once you get good at that can you actually get a violin in your hands. And then you don't get to play it for another 6 months or something. What do you want? What? Go back to eating your hay, you little chair chewer. No. Don't get so close. Don't chew on it. There's the corner. I mean, literally, I'm sitting on most of this chair. It's not that big. There's a corner this big. It's tiny. What are you looking at? Something over there. So that's what I sort of sometimes go to. I go to the really picky things. Okay, so when you do this moment right here, that foot, that left foot goes a little bit, and he was just, you think too much. I said, Sean, hang on, I gotta back up. I gotta tell you, I'm really actually trying to pick apart my own stuff, not yours. Poor guy, he really did well with me. Super knowledgeable and experienced. Elisa Wallace. Yes, I have seen Elisa Wallace's channel. I've seen a few of her videos. A lot of people, not a lot, quite a few people um, ask me about her. I did talk to Shauna. We talked about a lot of people. Elise Wallace is currently going through the tip challenge with a couple of Mustangs, and she's got one that probably came gentled, and one that is actually pretty wild. And I was much more interested in the one that wasn't gentled. And I've watched a couple of them, but I'm not a bit. I don't like narrated videos at all. I find them really boring. I start to tune out really fast. Um, Narrated videos are fine. Don't get me wrong, they're a good teaching tool, especially if you're standing in front of some people and you're narrating video and you can actively, but when you can't see the person behind the voice, I did narrate the videos in the past and I didn't like doing them. I still don't like doing them. Once in a while I will, a little. So I don't, it's not for me. I'm not the audience for that type of teaching. Um, But if I would turn that off and I sort of watch what she's doing, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And Sean also said, "Oh, isn't she the one that jumps her Mustang and stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, she's does eventing with one of her Mustangs from a while back or something." And uh, you know, there's going to be parts of every horseman or horsewoman that you like and don't like. You can't possibly like all parts of them. And so there's parts of her stuff that I think good. You know, the best thing about, I feel the best thing that she's doing is taking these Mustangs from certain death, joining the tip challenge, and getting these animals out of confinement, out of the BLM, out of the pool of horses that are going to be chucked, and spending her hard earned time. You know, it takes time. She's also doing the videos. Trust me, that takes time. I know it takes time. And you know, using her knowledge and experience to work with these things to get them to be handleable and manageable and trainable and workable and all that kind of stuff, and showing her experiences through it. So even though I'm not quite the audience, I can appreciate the efforts that she's going through for these horses. And then on the flip side, I'm completely, not completely, but I'm quite against eventing. So that part of it, I was like, I gotta move my brain past that to see the really good that she is actually doing. And I think it's fantastic. She's got not just one, but two Mustangs in. That's a big deal. And so good on her. So everybody who watches her, and you like what she does, you make sure to subscribe and click her little thumbs up and stuff like that. Let her know she's doing pretty good, and keep doing what she's doing for those Mustangs. They're amazing animals. Hanging out with Sean was just the coolest. He really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So Marianne says, why are you against eventing? Well, eventing is primarily about jumping. And to win at eventing, you have to do a lot of practice. And some of these horses are put over 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot fences or jumps. And some of them, they're coming from up high and landing down low, which is an even bigger jump. So maybe you have to jump over. There's nothing there. Maybe you got to jump over something that's 2 or 3 feet, but you're coming down another 3 feet, which makes for a, you know, possible 6 foot fall. There is plenty, and I mean plenty, of science and studies out there that show horses that are put in either too young, unfit, or too long and too much into reining, cutting, whatever. Any of these eventing things. And at 8 years old to 10 years old, they're wrecked. They're done. When they should have another 20 years of life left. And so, because that's the majority of what I hear and see and people come talk to me about, I have a bias against it due to that. The science is sound. Horses are not meant to do that. They are invariably shod for it as well. And the eventing world promotes, gross. The eventing world promotes harsh bits, chains, tie downs. I mean, the majority of these things are on standing or running martingales. And so I don't see eventing as a benefit to the horse. In many ways, a detriment. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not necessarily trying to judge people, because everyone does things a little different. Some are really, really gentle about it, and there's something to be said for a horse to have a job of some sorts, you know. But the amount to win at eventing, I think, the amount of practice, the amount of jumping, the amount of landing, probably hundreds or possibly thousands of times they've got to land on that front end hard. I just think, is it a necessity? I don't know. So that's sort of how I look at that. The majority of them don't come out sound. Yes, Marianne. Jumping is important. I think horses should be able to be cued to jump. You know, you can get cavalettes, you can get just the basic jumps. I mean, because most of the time you might be just trying to get over a ditch or a log or something, and you got to make it over. So you got to jump it. Horses jump over stuff all the time in the wild if they need to, but very rarely do they ever choose to if they don't have to. But learning how to do it, learning how it feels, how to be balanced and all that kind of stuff, and practicing often. But you don't need to practice on 3, 4, 5 foot jumps. It really wrecks them. It's sad. And the FEI will not allow people to go bitless or bridleless, even if they could successfully, not only successfully complete the course, but win. They won't let people do it. But you'll find these horses out there with a figure 8 noseband, with another strap around that, with a curb chain and a long shank bit and a massive tie down, and that will be legal. So what? So eventing bothers me. I think bitless and eventing isn't the thing, but I don't know. Prove me wrong. Not in dressage. No, of course not. No, dressage will always have 2 sets of reins and 2 bits or 2 sections, 2 this, that. I don't understand right now, but okay. Somebody had a good question. I don't know what a Micklem bridle is. Sorry. If you could explain it to me, that would be great. Rebecca, good morning. In Las Vegas. I'm up in BC. Thank you, Martine. I shall apply that to hay, which is no problem around this joint. Constantly eating it, pooping it out. Alicia, I don't think I've seen your name in here before. Welcome to the channel. The violence story reminds me of the first horsemanship classes. We did 5 weeks straight of groundwork, hitching correctly, safety, catching, attacking, no riding. Perfect. I couldn't agree with that more. I have students that come here, and a lot of people will come and they'll say, can I ride a horse? Can I ride around? I say, well, have you ever been around horses? No, not really, but I want to ride a horse. I said, well, you're at the wrong place, unfortunately. Go ride a horse where you want to. There's plenty of places that'll stick you on a horse and lead you around. But we do horsemanship here, and it means that you start on the ground, and when you can show me you're proficient on the ground, then you can get on the horse. And the main reason for that is safety. Utterly and totally about being safe. And if you can't read that horse, if you don't understand what it means to be around horses, if you can't direct that horse and you can't drive that horse and you don't have any relationship with that horse, the only thing that's keeping you on that horse is likely the person that's standing around with you, who does have a relationship, who has spent time, who has had the patience and been able to build up that relationship. There's too many people rushing into horses or wanting to rush into horses. Maybe they don't, but maybe they really would like to, because they're awesome to be around. I don't hold it against people rushing into horses, because it's awesome. It is a really cool thing. But those that have been in it a little longer and maybe did rush into horses, present company included, you kind of end up having to learn the hard way, and then when you do know it, you don't want other people to learn the hard way. At least not in your care. Let's see. Lindsay Partridge, never heard of her, but I will look her up if I remember. Hopefully I remember. Stick it in the when this video ends, if you can put it in a comment for me, that'd be great. I don't know if I'd remember by the time I get back inside upstairs. Twinkie, I'm stuck on you. Love your natural ways. Don't even bother the other channels. They're too stiff and seem all over themselves slipping about the horses. There are plenty out there that are. I agree. There are quite a few that are really, really effective at telling stories and talking to the audience in a way that can resonate with a wider variety of people. It's good. YouTube's been good for horses. You know, if you had to rely on just TV, understand horsemanship and stuff. Zeus, why is your nose all sandy? What'd you do? It's got sandy brown nose now. Gracie, you don't need company anymore? Should we go join another horse? I'm a super slow coffee drinker. Anybody who hangs around with me knows that. I'll take about an hour to drink coffee. No, it's gone the other way. Okay, next question. Oh yeah, so Micklin bridles. Tell me what those are. I don't know what they are. Martine says these jumpers and competition makes for cruel sport for prestige and money. There are quite a few animal sports out there that seem to be a lot about status and money. Yeah. They are shaped to remove pressure off facial nerves. That's a good point. What's that? I already fed him. What are you guys doing? I made Zeus breakfast. What did you make him? Because he ran out of food. I gotta make more. You guys have a good sleep? Is that a yes or a no? Did you have a good sleep? Yeah. Good. What are you doing? That's good. What are you guys doing now? We're making breakfast. Okay. All right. We're making breakfast for you too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, and can you text Audrey's mom? Yeah, I'll check. I'll see you. I'm still thinking. Anyways, let me know when breakfast is ready then. You have to do this sort of quick, because Audrey's getting picked up at 10. So, yeah. What? Okay? What's that? Oh, she's probably got a plan in mind then. I'll see what. No, I have to take my medicine in the morning. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, well get on with breakfast. I'll be back. I'll be up in a bit. Kids. Shape to remove pressure off. Sean and I were talking about facial nerves actually, and there are some halters out there. I'd never seen one before, for some reason, until he told me, and then I saw them everywhere. But they have an extra couple of knots right on top of the nose. There's the ones on the sides, but there's one right on top. He says those ones are garbage. They'll wreck a horse. So that's good. Taking pressure off any facial nerves is great. I think some of them, some of them are built to be on those fishing boats. Anyhow, Alicia's been a bit of a lurker, eh? Thanks for watching the videos. I appreciate it. Marianne rushed into horses. They're serious? Okay. Marianne, I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody who rushes into horses and just gets into it. David, you went to an excellent riding horse training facility where you live, wanting to learn to ride. I was on the ground first and never in the saddle for several lessons. All riding lessons should begin with 6 feet on the ground. Yeah, great t-shirt. Thanks, Brian. I live by this. Sorry that I pushed your button. I think if I had worn this with Sean, he would have. Yeah, he would have laughed. He's good-natured, great sense of humor. Him and I had a lot of laughs. Got along just great. A bucket of coffee. It is not a bucket of coffee. This is maybe 1 to 2. I mean, this thing is, Maria, you talked to me about this before. This is not good coffee. This is tasty mocha. Plus, I take over an hour to drink it anyways. So, yes, Haley's up. Nell's got to go feed the dogs. Cool. So, bridles, halters, things like that. Really, really important. I agree with that. If there's, I'll look up, hopefully I'll remember that as well. What's that other girl's name? Who wrote that? Maria? Lindsay Partridge. I don't know. Yes, Bonnie, all the horses here seem to have figured out that if you shake the hay bag, lots falls out, and then they just eat it off the ground, which is ideal. To get into feeding briefly, I really like hay bags for that reason, because usually the area around their hay bag is clean. And I do agree that horses should be eating off the ground as much as possible, as low as possible. That's how they're built. That's how they work. And so a lot of people will advocate, well, keep them in a pasture, feed them in the pasture and stuff. But if you're not cleaning your pasture, then your pasture's got lots of spots where manure is, and then their horses invariably end up eating where pretty close or on top of the manure and stuff. So you've got the one side where it's good that they're in a pasture, it's good that they're eating low, they're not eating up high, compared to a stall where they get fed on the ground and they've got their shavings that are full of urine and stuff like that. Maybe that also I don't think is very good, because the noxious fumes that they breathe in throughout that whole time. So, you know, it's not an ideal situation when you've got horses to have them in paddocks per se. So I agree with that when people say that. But, you know, always trying to find there are positives to everything that's going on. Like I said, even being in a field, it's positive. It's great. You're out and about. You're eating off the ground. It's good for them. It's good for their teeth. Maria, I'll put the link in the Lindsay Partridge coach. She's also in Canada. Had some problems getting them over the border this year. The Mustangs. Yeah, that's what I worry about. Been talking about Mustangs. I've been talking about our wild horses here in Canada, and there are a few rescue places that specialize in that. So we're thinking about trying to figure out how to get involved in that, maybe, because getting the Mustangs up from the States, unless they're a 3-striker or owned by somebody else who's given up, you can't get the title, which means you can't bring them across the border. You get them out of the BLM, you got to wait a year before you can get the title, and without the title you can't bring them to Canada. And I don't know how the tip challenge works. I guess there must be some accommodations being made for people who want to be in the tip challenge. So I'd have to look that up. Sean, I don't think Sean was really aware of it either. Obviously he's American, doesn't have to bother with that crap. So, yeah, figure it out. I don't know. I think in time you guys will see a Mustang or two. Definitely some wild horses here. The ball has been rolling for a while now. And going to Colorado gave it a big kick. So that was nice. Okay. Carla. Yes. There are plenty of wild horses here. We've got a couple of areas. Alberta, and another area, can't remember. Anyways, there's plenty in Alberta, and where else? I'd have somebody come in and help me out with that one. But did they catch any from Sable Island? I don't know. I don't know. There are wild horses in BC. Yes, there are. Sable Island's a no-go zone in Canada. Well, there you go. David knows better. Thank you, Bonnie. I will have a good day. It's going to be beautiful today. But yeah, we do have wild horses here. And case studies are something I definitely want to do. And Sean and I both received a pretty interesting email from a lady who seemed to know quite a few people. And she had some ideas. And one of them was to tell the whole story, to start from scratch. And so the good thing is I would be, for bringing in wild horses, other than that Mustang that came in, I would sort of be starting from scratch, relatively. So from deciding on, which paddock that horse might be in, deciding on how to train, whether I should use a round pen or I should use my covered arena, or if I have to beef up the fencing, or things that I would be thinking about, to the trip out to go to wherever it is that I'm going, to go pick out the horse, to go trailer, travel back, and then start training. All of that whole story that comes when dealing with wild horse and stuff. And I thought that's a lot of work. That's a heck of a lot of work. But it might be worth it. That'd be something interesting. Gracie's doing so well. It's just nuts. Nice to sit with her in the morning here. Wild horses in Canada, no, they're not Mustangs. I think they're just a mix. I don't know if people really quite know. Some the wild horses in Canada live pretty free, some are caught. I don't know if they're caught like the Mustangs are caught, but they're caught. I think usually they just sort of get onto somebody's land, and then somebody comes along and says, time to go. But yeah, a case study sort of documentary kind of series, sort of what I do here in a way, but maybe a little more refined. I think it would still be an ongoing series, but out of that I'd probably be able to make something that makes sense, that is put together into one video. So that would be a proper documentary about what it takes to go get a wild horse in Canada. Because there's a lot of... Zeus is just... What is he doing? Why is he just... Look at him. Can you see him? Right there. He's hanging out in Ruli's paddock. Okay, I'm going to end this pretty soon here, because I'm going to go eat some breakfast with the kids. But I think there's something to be said for also highlighting what goes on and what we have here in Canada, because we have plenty of horses here as well, obviously. Including little vagrants like this one. Okay, Gracie, I'm going to leave you alone shortly here, so I can go eat her and quick clean up some poop. Hello. I've also been working on teaching her to give with her tail. I don't know if she'll do it. Let's see. Let's come over this way. Come here. Will you do it today? You do it better the other way. Come on. That's the wrong way. Good girl. A little more. Now. Good girl. Good girl. It's just a little bit of pressure, you know? You got that figured out pretty quick. So, yeah, all kinds of things you can do with a horse. Kind of come all the way back around to the beginning of this video. But I get a lot of questions on what can you do with a horse in a small space? And plenty, you know? Washing, spraying, playing with the tail, playing with the feet, brushing. I guess in a way you could do some trick training kind of thing, stuff like that. Small space work is something I love. I really enjoy small space stuff. So, how much longer on her stall stay? Oh, hey Carrie. Thanks, Martine. Yeah, the Mustang training one was really good. H-Man, have I ever watched a horse being put down? Carla, yes. Her stall stay, a couple weeks maybe. I really don't want to take a chance. She's gone this far to be impatient and kind of have her go out a little earlier than would be good. So we'll see. I'm really just basing it off what's going on the underside of her feet. When that clears out and it looks solid and the layers of material have solidified into something that will block anything that tries to get in there, she's out. She's good. She'll be cleared for life. H-Man, have I ever seen a horse being put down? Marianne, no, she doesn't have any problems on stall rest. It's weird. Actually, it's not totally weird. Ronnie was on stall rest for 2 months in the barn. He was great. It's terrific. Although Gracie would probably not handle being in the barn. So being out here, she seems fine. And I try to keep this place clean so she's not standing in her own peep and poop. And all of our paddocks or all of our shelters are graded. So if they do go pee, it just goes into a corner or drains away completely properly. And yeah, I agree. She's probably learning to be a little calmer. Especially when the other horses go out. She'll start getting excited and she's kicked the boards a few times and stuff. Yeah, some horses would sneak under. It's still a little too low for her to sneak under. She gets stopped. Yes, I've seen a horse put down. It's super hard. I don't know what relevance that has, but now you have your answer. Okay, well, I think that's about it for now. Better go check the kids, make sure they're not burning the house down. Yeah. It's... I mean, different people have different ways of putting horses down. And, but it's not... It's not anything that I would choose to talk about, I think, unless somebody needed me to talk about it in some way that made them feel a little bit better and more included in the world. Losing your own horse to whatever is, losing a horse to anything is really hard. To actively have to put them down is even harder. You know. Like a dog or a cat, you know, sure it's the same. Such gentle creatures though, you know, it's not a bad bone in most of their bodies. You just think, boy, if you could just live forever, that'd be nice. It sucks. Not sure, maybe if you had to do it recently or something. Thanks for the pig video. You're welcome. She was a heck of a lot of fun, sweet pea. Thanks, Brian. I will have a good day. I hope everybody else also has a good day, or whatever part of your day it is. It's morning here, so we got a whole day ahead of us. Yeah. I don't know if I had draw, David. I'm pretty sure she was pushing me around. I got lots more Sean stuff coming up. Uh, you're welcome for the video that I put up. I've got many more. Lots. And a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things that I want to show and talk about. So I think it's going to be interesting. Anyways, all right, everybody. Have yourselves a good... Oh, Vinny's marching around. What you got going on, Vinny? I bet it's a fly that's bugging him. But I'm going to end it there. Go get breakfast. I've already had a bagel, so I'm not that bad off. But the girls are making something, so I better go check that out. Make sure there's nothing bad happening. And I'll see you guys again later or tomorrow, for sure. And I want to talk about Duke, actually. Show you guys what's going on with him. He's doing really well. Red Zeus, he's coming. He's on his way over. Look at him. Hey. Whoa, camera. Stay. There he is. Anyways, thanks everybody for all the kind words. I shall try to have a very good day and let this one eat. Really and Vinny. Peggy's just been chilling this whole time. And everybody at the back's just eating, so. Alright, we'll see you guys again a little later. Maybe later. I want to talk about Duke. I was going to do a live stream with him, but we'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, that's it for now. Bye.